The approach I'm sharing with you today is I've started doing a writing workshop in my Spanish 302 presentational Spanish class. Presentational Spanish is working on skills in Spanish where you don't have another person to bounce ideas off of. It's different from Spanish 301 in that 301 is interpersonal communication, focusing on can I negotiate meeting with the person I'm talking with to get the point across. Whereas Spanish 302, presentational Spanish, is I have the opportunity to look at what I've written or what I've prepared, and I can make meaning with what I have prepared because I have time to rehearse it. And so there is an emphasis in 302 on written communication, specifically formal written communication. And we write essays, 300 to 400 word essays. And so to sort of guide my students along, I've started doing a writing workshop. When I got my master's degree, it was in teaching English language arts, but I wanted to tailor it so that I could start focusing on, I've been teaching Spanish for 21 years now. And I wanted to focus on teaching writing, specifically writing in another language. So my master's degree was sort of tailored for writing in a second language writing. And so I started using ideas that are used in like an English 101 class to guide students to write in Spanish. So that's the inspiration for it. And because I feel that Spanish 302, it's one of those bridge classes, 301 and 302 are the bridge classes taking students from learning the language to using the language. And so I feel that it is very demanding. Students have all of this knowledge, and I just want to help them get to see how much knowledge they have and just guide them along so that they can really be successful. So a couple of things that I want to show you is, first I want to show you this image of ACTFL proficiency levels. ACTFL is the American Council for the Teaching of Foreign Languages. And when students get to the 300 level, they are really usually in the intermediate level, right? 301 and 302, we're trying to push them up into the advanced so that they can narrate and describe in all major timeframes. Again, use all of that knowledge that they have studied up until the 300 level, speak with it, write with it, and do that successfully. This is my writing workshop, and this is the topic. Our first essay is to write about a city that the student knows well. And this is to get them writing about and speaking about and presenting about something that is not first person. So going outside of what they do every day to something that is outside of themselves, describing a city more into the third person. They're writing something like a Wikipedia page about a city that is worth a visit, and they're writing this all in Spanish. And so we do the step by step, and I remind students that they know how to do these things, right? This image is taken from an English 101 class. And just to remind students that everything that they've learned in English 101, we're going to do again in Spanish 302. You know, the essay has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And of course, we changed that to Spanish, introducción, desarrollo, conclusión. I tried to scaffold it, and I tried to organize it so that I'm not just saying, okay, go home, write an essay in Spanish, 300 words, but rather there's a start, a middle, and an end. And I have this step-by-step that was created, or rather not created by I don't know if she created it, but Dr. Carolina Vieira, she let me use the step-by-step activity for students while they're doing their writing assignment, right? So what are we doing in the introduction? What are we doing in the body? What do we want to do for the conclusion? I have taken her brilliant ideas and her brilliant activities and used them for this writing workshop. And then we go back and we make sure that we are using a formal register, right? So we're not saying bro, for example. We're not saying dude. We're not saying this place is awesome, but rather this is a lovely city to come visit. It's highly recommended that you visit the city. So that is what we do with the writing workshop. And I've seen incredible results. I get a higher quality essay that's much more structured. Students are much more aware of what they're doing, what they want to say, because it gives them time and direction to work on their work. I think that it gives them a chance to see what they were doing in to get to the Spanish 300 level, right? Now that I know all of these things, I can't just write about me. I can't just use short sentences. I got to start improving my grammar. I have to start writing about things using a more formal register, similarly as I'm doing in my other classes in, psychology, sociology. I'm writing these academic papers. So I have to do that in Spanish as well. And so their students are able to take all of the skills that they've learned and that they are learning for their other classes and use them here in their language class. And I hope that it's giving them a lot of confidence to say, wow, I'm doing 300 in Spanish, right? This is a great question because it is time consuming, and anybody who is taught knows that that hour and 15 minutes is very special. It's so worth it. First of all, give it a couple of semesters. This of course is a work in progress, and I think this is the fourth or fifth semester that I've done it, and each semester is getting better. But again, it is so worth it. The first draft that they turn in is a higher quality. They have agency in it. It's worth the time and the effort. And again, it's going to change. So the first semester, if it wasn't great, it's okay. Try it again in next semester. Maybe journal about your experience and try it again.